so excited. We are here to give you a very special video. We're live together. It's so fun. Yes, this is Larry from LCScreentalk.
Hi.
If you guys aren't subscribed to his channel, you really should be. And we are here to get ready for FanX, and that's going to start tomorrow. And we're recording these, and it's going to be so much fun. And we're just having a lot of fun, and we're getting ready for Endgame coming up. And so we thought, what's a unique ranking that we could do? A unique video is to rank the MCU Girlfriends. And what we decided was classifying as this is basically like a love interest, a supporting role that supports one of our main Avengers. We did not include in this ranking the commingling Avengers.
Yeah. So no Gamora, no Wanda, and certainly no Natasha, Black Widow.
Right. And so these are our, we got our Peggy Carters, our Betty Ross, or Jane Fosters, those kind of people. We thought it would be really fun to rank. And these are just our rankings. It's all in fun. It's all nonsense. So put your rankings in the comment section, and let's just have a little bit of fun.
All right.
Okay, so number 10, I have Jane Foster, and I think that Natalie Portman is obviously a great actress, but I just didn't feel any chemistry between her and Chris Hemsworth, and I just found her character kind of irritating and trying to, I don't know, she kind of lectures Thor a lot, and I don't know, like if I was dating Thor, I'd be pretty excited. She never seems that excited, and so I just don't relate to her. So I have her at number 10.
So as I reveal my number 10, I also have an honorable mention that should probably be there in place of number 10. But my honorable mention is Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. But since we're not doing co-mingling and Avengers team members, I guess he can't count. But he should certainly be taking the place of my personal number 10, and that is Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
Who I'm just like, this reveal was so cringeworthy to me in her being Peggy Carter's niece that I was like, oh my gosh. And then the fact that they continue on with it in that film. Plus, I mean, as a character, I mean, we get what, like a fight scene or two with her on the actual films. But I don't know, she's just kind of there. I forget that she even counts because they pretty much dropped her like a sack after that we haven't really revisited her character at all. And Steve doesn't seem too heartbroken about not revisiting that. So number 10 it is.
Yeah, it's my number 9. So
oh, okay, perfect.
I agree. I think that they actually have semi-okay chemistry, better than I think Jane and Thor. And I do think that one scene where they kiss with the other guy sitting in the car is kind of funny. So that's the only reason I would give it a slight edge.
Bucky in the car staring her down with jealousy.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that.
So at number 9, I have Laura Barton. So we almost forgot about her because, I mean, we've barely seen her.
Hey, you might have to remind the audience who Laura Barton is.
Hawkeye's wife, Linda Cardellini, who is a great actress. I love her in most everything that she does. But we've only seen her once. Is it twice?
In Ultron. Do we see her?
I think it's only been in Ultron. In that brief moment, she seemed very lovely. They seemed to have a very nice marriage going on there. Hopefully, I'm assuming she's probably going to be dead for Endgame, and that's why Hawkeye comes on out and comes back into action.
Like, I think we pretty much know that his daughter is definitely going to die.
Yes.
You can tell that from the trailer.
I think probably she's going to be dead too, but maybe we'll get more of her. Maybe we'll get like a cute reunion moment. I don't know. But as it is for now, I don't know anything about her almost at all. So she's number 9.
Yeah. So my number 8, I have Liz from Spider-Man Homecoming. And because I just I don't know. She's very, I think, forgettable. It's not really the actress's fault. She does fine. But I was definitely more invested in MJ than her. I'd almost want to flip her and put her on the list, which is not like a real girlfriend.
She's like
I don't know.
Friend, kind of want, maybe girlfriend.
Yeah. And she's just basically a tool to get Peter in with the villain, with the villain as a sort of conflict. So she's pretty boring to me. And so that's where I have her.
So at number 8, I have Jane Foster.
Yeah.
So I love Natalie Portman, so maybe I have like slight baby blinders on that help me a little bit bump her above the other two. I mean, I guess you could say, as terrible as the plot is, just in general, she does play somewhat of an important role in Thor: The Dark World, being like that conduit of the what is it? The thing.
Yeah, the bridge or whatever.
Yeah, she's like the conduit there. There are some okay moments between her and Thor in the first movie, but it mostly comes from Thor's side. His like reaction rather than her. And next to Kat Dennings, who is really annoying in that role to me, it makes Jane Foster look a little bit better. But overall, I mean, Natalie Portman, this is like Star Wars level phoning it in for her. It just, I don't know. They wrote her off. They're just done with that. Thank goodness she was not brought back really for Thor Ragnarok, other than a quick mention throwaway lines to get rid of her from Thor's storyline. So Jane Foster definitely drug those Thor films down. So she has to be pretty low on the list. And for me, she's number 8.
Yes. So number 7, I have Laura Barton. And I think there's some nice emotion between her and Hawkeye in those scenes in Ultron. Where she's very conflicted about him. I mean, who wouldn't be? You've got all these kids and stuff, and you're like, you're going out as a non-superhero, as non-super, and you're putting your life at risk. And so that's the only reason I would give her slight edge. For the most part, she's just making food for the team and whatever. But she's not certainly not the cringiest. And but yeah, so interesting to see if we see her a little bit more. But that's where I put her.
All right. So at number 7, I have Liz from Spider-Man: Homecoming. She's just very bland. She's there. As you said, she is really just there to introduce and give an extra layer of tension and like drama with Peter and our villain. So, and Tom Holland, he just has like a great energy about him, and he's really has great chemistry pretty much with everyone. But honestly, he has the least amount of chemistry with her. Like out of everyone in that whole film, you don't feel that chemistry between those two like you do with him and Ned, him and his aunt, him and MJ, him and the villain, him and Tony. Like literally everyone else has better energy and chemistry between them. So she's fine. Obviously, she's very pretty. She plays that role well. It's nice to have 2 women of color, like kind of being the 2 main love interests for Spidey. I'm pretty certain she's coming up in this new Far From Home. We'll see. I don't know.
Oh, really? Okay.
But we'll see. I don't know.
Well, very good. So my pick for number 6 is Christine from Doctor Strange. And I think that my hope, I kind of pick her, it's more of an aspirational pick, because in the comics, she plays the night nurse. And in the comics, the night nurse is actually really cool. And she runs this whole hospital for supers to try to keep their identity secret and to try to help them and to treat them and whatever. And so I'm hopeful that they kind of, and if they do Doctor Strange 2, which I think will probably happen, and if they do that, then I hope that they'll kind of elaborate on that and make an interesting story for her treating all these superheroes. I think that would be kind of fun. And I do like the couple moments when she sticks up for, or basically tells Doctor Strange to shove it, and I think she has some spunk.
Yeah.
But they definitely underuse her, and she's kind of boring.
I also have Christine from Doctor Strange as my number 6. Another case of me loving the actress. So I inherently go in with the love for the character, whether they capitalize that or not. But I love Rachel McAdams. And I agree that I just like her character as she is. I just wish we would have gotten more of her like spunkiness and her like one-liners to Doctor Strange. We just don't get much of her. Her character doesn't really do anything interesting, and honestly, they don't have very much chemistry either. They have the sparks there with these two sarcastic people, but they just never like fully realize it. And part of that is they don't have the time. I mean, he's not around her very much in the film.
Yeah, so, most of the time when he's with her, he's getting operated on.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's fine. She didn't actively annoy me like a lot of the other love interests have throughout Marvel. So that gets you up to number 6 if you're just kind of there.
Yeah. So for number 5, I have Betty Ross from Incredible Hulk. I like Liv Tyler. She's really good as an actress. I think she always brings sort of an ephemeral quality to her in her roles. And I think that works really well in contrast to Hulk. And I think there's a little bit of a, what's her name? Can't think of the character's name, but in King Kong with the beast and I can't think of her name. But anyway, there's sort of that kind of element, I think, going on a little bit in Incredible Hulk. And he's kind of protecting her. He's kind of, and I think that works, especially because she's from this kind of dominating father, that she has, so it's not my favorite movie, but I think it's serviceable performance and character.
Yeah. So I also have Betty Ross at my number 5. She gets a lot more screen time than a lot of our female leads in these films, a lot of the love interests, and I think maybe the Ang Lee character or the Ang Lee film helped flesh it out a little bit because it just was like we kind of know the character of Betty Ross. If you know the Hulk, you know the character of Betty Ross pretty well. And I think they do a good enough job of quickly introducing you to her, getting you to know who this person is, what her qualities are. And I think that Liv does a great job of bringing that warmth to the character and really, like you said, providing a great contrast between her and Bruce, and in particular, her and the Hulk. So she is not really active or proactive, but she's also not really passive in the film. I don't know. She's a decent balance.
She's kind of introverted, I would say.
She's an interesting enough character. She definitely has more layers than anybody else we've mentioned so far on either of our lists. So she's not the best, but she 5th place feels right.
Yeah. Which do you prefer, Liv Tyler or Jennifer Connelly?
I think I prefer Liv Tyler personally.
Yeah. Okay, so number 4, I have Pepper Potts, and she has probably the most screen time of any of these, and the most kind of character development, and I think that a lot of people hate Gwyneth Paltrow for her outside persona and some of her antics and stuff, but as far as her performance, she's fine. She does a good job, and I think that she, when she actually like puts on the suit at a certain, in Iron Man 3, it's kind of interesting, and so she gets to understand what Tony's kind of going through in a different way than any of the other love interests, and I think she's pretty good.
Yeah. I agree. Pepper Potts is also my number 4, so it seems like as we get higher on the list, our lists get more and more similar. But Pepper Potts is my number 4 as well. Gwyneth Paltrow is fine, and Pepper Potts has definitely had her shining moments, in particular when she like legitimately dons the suit. And it's been several times throughout his arc and his series that she's kind of saved him, which is something most all of these others can't really say, is she has been very proactive. She has had her own angle with him rather than just sitting there being a passive love interest. She's part of Stark Industries. I mean, she has a lot to do within the films, whether or not that's on camera or as a character off doing her own thing. I just think she's one that has a lot of great moments, but she also has quite a few like grating moments for me where I'm just like, oh God, why did they write Pepper Potts like that?
Yeah.
In particular, Infinity War, oh my God, I can't handle how they wrote Pepper Potts. I thought it was a ridiculous, like nagging, shrill wife stereotype that they gave to her, and I hated it.
It was so weird too because they were at such a good place at the end of Homecoming, so I don't understand why they did that. It's weird.
And they also had that weird moment where they went from Civil War to Homecoming without any explanation. You had like Tony Stark almost crying on the stage because Pepper Potts' name was mentioned.
Yeah.
And we get no real explanation. He's just like, oh, we're engaged. Yeah. Homecoming. And they're like, wait a minute. Last time we heard Pepper Potts, you two were broken up and you were like heartbroken, Tony. Yeah. So there are weird things in her character, but her highs definitely are way higher than anyone else below her on this list. And I would say her highs are probably some of the highest for the female characters on this list, period. Is just her lows drag her down beneath my top 3.
Yeah, that's good. That's fair. All right, so we have at number 3, I have Nakia. Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Nakia from Black Panther, and Lupita Nyong'o is incredible, and I think she does a pretty good chemistry with Chadwick Boseman. And we don't get a ton of time between them, and she doesn't really have like her own plot. But I really enjoyed sort of the threesome of women in Black Panther and in Infinity War when they were all kind of working together. I thought it was really fun. So it's more sort of a team. She's a real team player, which is nice. And I when they inevitably make Black Panther 2, I'm sure we'll get more of her and her kind of personality. But I don't know, just on that group dynamic and Lupita alone, I feel like she's pretty high for me.
Well, I also have Nakia at my number 3 because, as you said, she's another one that really has kind of her own thing going on. She's out there like trying to make Africa better. We meet her at the beginning of the film, and Okoye's coming down to like grab her and take her back with her to the kingdom because T'Challa needs her help. But she's like on a mission to like save these girls and do good in Africa on her own outside of Wakanda. And so many people really praise Killmonger, and they're like, you know what? After I think about it, Killmonger was right. I think I'm on Killmonger's side. And when you stop and think, you're like, wait a minute though. Nakia was saying what Killmonger was saying, but without the whole genocide part.
Right,
so she was saying what you really were thinking this whole movie is we need to help people. We need to open our borders. We need to use our resources to advance people at large. And that was her message to T'Challa pretty much the whole movie.
Yeah. Without taking to a toxic place.
Saying like, but let's kill everybody on the way. Like, she wasn't about that. So I think, inevitably, people, she brought a good balance between T'Challa and Killmonger when they both had good points, but maybe both of them were a little bit flawed in their execution of their plan. Yeah. Plus, I think they had a nice little chemistry throughout, and that kind of gets realized at the end a little bit. But Lupita's great. I thought they did a lot with the character with not a ton of screen time and a ton of dialogue. And I'm just really excited to see where we go forward with her.
For sure. And so then number 2, I have Hope Van Dyne from Ant-Man, and particularly Ant-Man and the Wasp. I actually wasn't very high on her Evangeline Lilly's performance in Ant-Man. I thought she was kind of wooden and flat to me, especially to the charisma machine that is Paul Rudd. And so, I don't know, she just didn't do it for me. So I was very nervous about her coming in, taking a more lead role in Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is going to be rough. But she won me over. I thought she was really strong and really good, and she had a charisma. Maybe it's just sort of getting out that first time sort of jitters or whatever, I don't know, but she seemed way better to me in Ant-Man and the Wasp than in Ant-Man. And I thought she just has way more story and way more heart and investment, and with her mother, and with dealing with her resentment over her father. And there's just none of the other women really have that kind of leading role kind of thing. And so I think that Hope, you can make an argument that she should be number 1 as far as kind of leading role sort of things, but I think she's good at number 2 for me.
And guess what? In at number 2, I also have Hope Van Dyne from Ant-Man and then Ant-Man and the Wasp. I agree. So she was actually the first female in the MCU to be put on the title of one of their films before Captain Marvel. The Wasp was on a title, though she's still not quite the lead of that film. So Captain Marvel still holds that distinction. But she is so proactive in the second one. I loved the character of the Wasp in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I love that she was still the competent addition, and it was like fighting her father. I also loved her dynamic with her father in that argument of, I am qualified. I should be in this suit. I should be doing this. You know I'm good enough. But him having his reasonings and his ideas with his wife and what happened to her being the reason, and it didn't go down a whole sexist path. Instead, it went down a family, like, protective path. But I thought her banter with Paul Rudd is really fun, really funny, in particular in the second film as well. And she does have that really rich dynamic. I loved getting to see her interact with Michelle Pfeiffer. I thought that was a really genuine moment that they were able to get there. It was something really deep. And yeah, I liked her as a character at large. I thought she really broke out and shined in Ant-Man and the Wasp and stole a lot of the movie for me, in particular the action scene. She was so awesome. And talk about female leads and romances getting to take over and wear a suit and kick some butt. I mean, the Wasp is that. So I thought she was great, and I definitely think she deserves that number 2 spot.
All right, so we got the same number 1. This is very exciting. So Peggy Carter from Captain America, the First Avenger, and she had her whole own series on ABC that was really good. And I love Haley Atwell's performance in this. The chemistry between her and Chris Evans as Steve Rogers is so good. And you get to see her whole life basically play out. Their chemistry, even as she's in like old makeup, she's still beautiful, and you still have that chemistry between the two of them. And it's just by far and away the best. There's no doubt about it.
She's the best romantic lead. She's also featured in the best romance the MCU has produced. Far and away the best romance. The First Avenger, she is great because Peggy Carter, what they did so well with her character outside of Haley Atwell just being Peggy Carter is they made her like a really strong, kick-butt female without losing her femininity, without being really hard-edged. She was still like in charge and doing what she needed to do without being this boastful, over the top, like, oh yeah, I'm taking over type of trope. And I think they balanced that all out so well and allowed for room for her to kind of grow into that romance with Steve. And they don't hit it off right off. They have to earn each other's like affection and trust as we go forward. Obviously, that final scene in Captain America, the First Avenger, is just like, oh, the heartbreak. And that's how you know it pays off so well, because we're like devastated, even though she's living. And then, of course, when we get like her funeral moment and we get the old lady moment, it's just beautiful stuff. And that's all just in the films. She still kind of like trumps all the rest for me because it was so well executed. And when you think of romances in the MCU, this is like the definitive MCU romance. And that's because they did so well in developing Peggy Carter. And then, of course, adding in the series, and she just like skyrockets into the sky.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
there's
she is the best.
So, yeah. So let us know what your list is, how you would rank them. And in the comment section, or let us know on Twitter. That would be really fun. And if you have any other suggestions for lists that we could do or whatever, that would be great. And so where can people find you?
Yes, you can find me here on YouTube as well as Twitter and Instagram, all at LCScreentalk.
Yes, and you can find me at Rachel's Reviews on all social media and on YouTube and iTunes. If you could leave your ratings and reviews on iTunes, really appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube here, then give me your thumbs up, please, and subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. And we'll be really excited to go see Endgame.
Yeah.
We're
almost there. The Endgame is here.
So, bye.
Bye.